Greetings everybody, Amar here, and today I'm going to look at the Louisiana 5 of 37. Louisiana Easy is called. Now I just opened this up. I had this idea to do a workout in APlus and not Advantage Gold, because Advantage Gold doesn't actually record the video well and I have to use snippings. So anyway, this is chart number 4, drawing sense hit chart. I'm just going to go quickly back to the main menu. All right. Now, I was starting previously with hit charts number 7, okay, to find the coldest number to isolate. So if you go to chart 7 and you go to the last 50 and you scroll all the way to the bottom with the down arrow, you can see that 37 is the coldest number, okay. We have 37, 28, and 20. All right. Now, another way to find the coldest number, in my opinion, is to go back to chart number 4. Okay, and you want to look at the numeric chart, and this is function F5. This is actually the 4B chart. Okay, now I would change the range, all right, to find the coldest number. So again, to change the range, you use function F3, and to get a good idea, I think that if you go back 180 drawings, all right, you get a good idea of what the coldest number is. Now, generally, I do like to look at the last 720 games, because that is like a year. If you're going to consider 360 games as a virtual year, and then another 360, that gives you 720. Now, unfortunately, I can't do good math in my head. So let's see. 720 minus 1200 would be, you'd have 1,000, and then I guess that would bring you to what? 300? Now it looks like this game only draws twice a week because it's only going to 2007. So, but let's do 700. Oh, I'm sorry, no, what was it? 300, I said. So 300, and you hit enter, enter. All right. So how many drawings is that? That's about 720, it looks like. But that seems that it's not a good 2 years for some reason. I don't know. I'm getting myself confused. I'm sorry. All right, so let's look at the number 37. It has 121 hits. All right. So a better way to see the coldest number is actually then to, because the last 50 chart 7, the last 50 tells you that the 37 is the coldest, all right, in the last 50. So you can see the last 50 here. You have a bunch of cold periods, right? You have the 19, it's a cold period. Now I consider this a cold period 1, all right, and that's because the 10-4-3, I'm considering that as a streak, right? So if you look all the way to the left, you have the number 08354714011. That is a streak, okay? That technically is a nexus streak, which I like to call it, because it's a continuation of a string of skips. And there's no classical flag formations in it. You have the 3-5, which is like a flag, the 1-4, which is like a flag, but it's not classical flag such as would appear in the Lottery Master Guide under flag formation, where she says it's basically 2-5, 1-5, or 0-5, right? So 3-5 would be an expansion of the flag formation terminology or definition, and so would 1-4. So after the 1-1 in that streak, you have 10. That's one dormant period. Okay, I'm saying dormant because cold is relative. So 10 is a dormant period. Then 0-3 is a streak. Okay, and 10 would be one dormant period, and then 4-3 is a streak. So here I'm defining 3 hits as a streak, and that's because Gail Howard mentions that in the Lottery Master Guide somewhere. I don't remember off the top of my head what page. So after 3 hits, you go to the 19. That's 1 dormant period, 30 is 2 dormant periods, and 15 is 3 dormant periods. Okay, and the current skip is out. Now, the 6 is a hot skip, so you have to be careful because the number is coming in a reverse flag position here. Okay, now if you contrast that with the 36, you can see that you have a streak. So reading from the right, you have 4, 5, 5, 3, 2, 7, 5, and 13 was your dormant period. So you had 13, 5, that's a reverse flag, and 7 is your bottom, 2 is a hot skip, 3 is a bottom, 5 is a bottom, 5 is a bottom, 4 is a bottom, so 36 is a hot streak. So the last 50 chart is suggesting 37 is the coldest number, but you can see 36 is very hot. So I would certainly stay away from the 37 until we get either a flag entry or a hot skip, because right now the 6 is still a downstroke from the 15, but it's increasing towards the dormant period. So it could certainly have a 4th dormant period, and I like to look back in total history to see how many dormant periods is possible for the 37. So I went back a little bit, and here you can see there's a dormant period. Okay, after the streak of 21, 3, 1, 9, 1, 7, you have 1 dormant period, 12. And then this is the 3 is, I've had a difficulty defining this. I would be interested in what your ideas were, Kerry, because when I see 12, right, that is kind of like a technical correction. But the 3 is also kind of like a technical correction if you go by the 3-hit streak definition. So 12-3 is not a streak, right? But definitely you would want to try to gamble for the hot skip on the 12, right? Whenever you have a dormant period, I generally always try to guess that there's going to be a hot skip. Hot skip meaning 0, 1, 2, and 3. So 12-3 is together is still a technical correction, even though you would want to try to get the 3 after the 12. The 12 would be tough, but the 3 is easier to look for. So 11 is the 2nd dormant period, 18 is the 3rd dormant period, 14 is the 4th dormant period. Now there are no hot skips after these dormant periods until you get to the 14, where you have the 1. Then you have the 1-5 flag, and then 1-5-8, 7. And then you go back to 12, 1 dormant period. So you can see that there can be 4 dormant periods. So the 37 might have another dormant period with this current 6 if it goes up to skip 10. So to even look at this better, okay, I'm going to change the range even more. We'll change it to, let's say, the last 60, because if we're going on 360 as being a year, right, approximately, 60 would be a 6th of that year, right? So it's a little bit off of last 50, but 60 makes sense rather than 50 because you're looking at it in terms of a cycle or a circle, right? Because a year has 365 drawings, so 360 is very close. So I'm going to change the range again. So function F3. So from 1205 minus 60, and again, I wish I was better with math in my head, but let's see. 1155 would be 50. So 1145 should be 60. I hope that's correct. 1145. Okay. Now you can see this is in lieu of using chart number 7. All right. Because chart number 7 tells you what the coldest number is. So here you can see that 37 is cold. The 20 was also cold, I think. And you can go by the hits on the side. So you can see here the 37 has the least hits, and then everything else has 5. The next coldest has 5 hits, and looks like there's a bunch of numbers with 5 hits in the last 60. Now, see, the last 50 had the 20, right? So that means that I think it's the 7 and 1 are appearing within that last those hits, right? So 20 has more hits than 37 in the last 50 because it's including the 7 and 1. Anyway, but you can see the hottest numbers. So I would try to stick with the hottest numbers because the coldest numbers in last 50 tell you what's going to come around. Should come around eventually. But the hottest numbers are the one that you want to stay with. So let's see. Let's look at the 1. You see, well, the 1 here is interesting. You can see it's out 10. And you can go back. 10 is the bottom of 9. And 10 is the bottom of the previous 10. So it's kind of interesting for it to continue. So if you look at chart 4, you can see number 1 here is adjacent, right? Now, one of the simplest systems that I had come up with is using a spread of 21, right? So a spread of 21 brings you to the 22. And it was plus or minus 1 off of 21. And that's just from subtracting the last number to the first number. So 23 looks interesting because it's a 3, 3. So if 1 is your first number as an adjacent, and 23 is your second number, or your last number is a bottom, 3, 3, you would look in the middle to see the best numbers. Now, one of the filters that I would like to use that I'll show is, but let's change the range going back to, let's see, where's the 37? It's a reversal. So 35 here is showing as a smart pick. So 34 would be interesting to see if it sneaks in between the 33 and 35. But 33 and 35 would be hot. Let's see, where am I here? I wanted to change the range again to look at the bottoms. So let's see, 4. Okay, well, what I want to really do is run a couple of very advanced filters. So if you have the 1 and the 23, okay, hypothetically, as the numbers to look at, so I'm going to change the range. I'm going to go to 4, change the range, F3 again. I'm going to go back to 1, the whole history, okay, and then one of the advanced filters, I don't know if you ever use this filter, Kerry, but it's filter O. All right, and then I would go 6 hits width. So hits required for a match is 2, and then we're going to do the 1 space 23. Hit enter, and then you go escape back to the main menu. Now it looks like, and let me see, if I go back to that filter O, there's only 12 hits, 12 pairs with the 1 and the 23, so that's not very many. That's not very good. But if we run chart number 9, hit enter, you get a quad right there. 1, 12, 18, 23. All right. So I would then look at the 12 and 18 much closer. So we have to go escape, go back to 0. And let me see, what were the numbers? 12 and 18. So I go back to O, because you got to clear the filters because the drawing sense hit chart gets changed. So now you have 1205 in memory. So let's look at the 12 and 18 again. So if we go to the 4, so the 12 is a bottom. It's an 8, 7 bottom. So that looks pretty good. It's also an adjacent. And the 18 is a flag. So you have a 4 0.04 bottom. So that's an interesting quad, right? Now I'm just going to look and see what the best pair is, and when you have the full history, and it looks like the 185, it's starting from 185, it looks like. Let me see, so I'll go back to change the range. So this is showing as 1, 624.09, but it's showing as 180, there's my 1, okay, came back. So if we go back to escape and go run chart 9 here, we can get the best pair. So this chart takes a little longer, it's a little slower. So the bestest pair is 129, hit 33 times. Okay, and I'm just going to double check and see if the 123 did really hit only 12 times. That seems like really not a lot. So I'm going to go to the F4 individual chart. Well, this is chart 8, just so you know. What is that? Okay, chart number 8, companion numbers, and then F4 individual. So 123, 20, so 123, wow, is only 12 times. That is really not a lot. So I saw a pattern using the spread from 1 to 23, but it's a very bad pair. But I still kind of like it because it's a 3-3 bottom. And here you have, I believe this is what, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's 20. That's a big one there. Yeah, but you see 129 is the top pair. So let me run a filter with the pair. So 6. So I went back to chart O. All right, this is 6. 2 hits required for a match. Enter 1 space 29. Enter. Go back to the main menu. Hit chart 9. Companion pairs. 33 drawings. Hit enter. And now you have the hit companion pairs. This is a report with the 129. Now generally I like to print these out and have a hard copy so that I can track it. Certainly, Kerry, you can do a snipping or you can run the filter yourself in APlus, or you can run it in A Gold. It's a little differently. But here you come up with a quint. 1, 5, 18, 29, 33. So you can see that the 18 is in common as the quad from the 123, and you have actually here a companion quad 1, 12, 18, 29. So based off that other quad, right, from the 123 filter, you can then extrapolate one line to play for like a couple of drawings just to see how it looks, because the 3-3 bottom of the 23, you gotta technically you're supposed to hold that to a 3-6 bottom, right? Because that is the flag. And then the 12, which was, I think it was what, an 8-7 bottom or 7-8 bottom, you would technically want to hold that at least within the streak, because once you get to 7-10, you've left the nexus streak, aka flag formation. So I would look at that line, Kerry, 1, 12, 18, 23, 29 as a quad. And that's how I simplify my lines using these advanced reports. So I guess that's about it. It's been 20 minutes. Sorry for all the brain farts I had earlier, but it's been a while since I've used gold, so kind of forget things. And I didn't look at any other charts. One of the other charts that I do use, I just want to point out, is in chart number 7. There's these charts called hit trends. So if you go to function F5, this is an interesting chart to print out. If you use the arrow keys, you can highlight from best to worst the hits, and it tells you the net change. So net change is 27. It tells you it's the hottest number. And then if you go to the bottom, the 12 looks like the coldest number. Now in the last 50, I think it was the 37 that was showing. We don't see the 37 here as one of the coldest numbers. So the 37 here you see is 0.8% is the net change, and games out is 9. But in the last 50, if I remember correctly, going back to, oh, you know what it is, because I have the filter running still. I gotta get rid of the filter. See, so that's always, you gotta remember to do that. So history view filters, F4, clear filters. Now you have the full memory. Now if I go to chart number 7 and you go to hit trends, F5, net change, now the 37 should technically be at the bottom. Somewhere. There it is. It's over here. It's at negative 0.7%, right? Where the very coldest number is showing is negative 3.1%, which is a little bit counterintuitive, right? Because the last 50 chart shows this at the bottom. But here, this one is at the bottom. And this is the one that, looking back at chart number 4, we look at 4B again, you can see that the 10, it's out 10, and you have a 10 is the bottom of the 9, 10 is the bottom of the 10, and then you're getting approaching even a further bottom. This is where I think she says when you're looking for the support, 10 is technically a bottom of the 12, and it would be approaching the 13. So that's kind of like the streak going all the way back. So anyway, let me know your feedback, Kerry. This is a little convoluted. Next time I'll try to write down a little bit better of a plan that I do with these workouts, but I definitely enjoy those more advanced filters. And for some reason here, the range is going from 38 and not 1 again. So let me go back to F3 change range 1, hit enter. Okay, now I went back to 1. Alright, so you just want to make sure your ranges are all correct and everything else. And I guess that's it for now. So DM me and let me know what you think of this convoluted workout. But that combination, I think, is one to just pay attention to. The 1, 10 adjacent, bottom of the 9, 12, 8, 7 bottom, 18, 4, 0, 4 bottom, 23, 3, 3 bottom, and then the 29, 8, 0, 4. And that's because 129 is the top flag. All right. Good luck.